Okay, I believe we are live. So welcome to Tamarah's Closet today. I'm really excited. I have a very beautiful and multi-talented woman with me today. I love multi-talented people. And she's joining me from Gordons Bay in the Western Cape. She's an artist, a photographer, she's done fashion design. She's also a former model. So I really think you're going to find some inspiration from her today. And I want to go ahead and bring her out since we've got lots of questions. So I want to welcome today to Tamarah's Closet artist Terry Stevens Horn. It's evening for you. Good evening, Terry.
Thank you. Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really feel honored, and thank you.
I'm so glad to have you because I've been watching you for years and I've been enjoying your art a lot just recently. So I wanted to reach out to you. And I always like to go back a little bit into your childhood. I think it helps the people watching to know that some of us got our inspiration early, or we had family members who were in our same field, and then sometimes people come out of parents who did nothing like them. So I just think it's important. And so I wanted to know if you remember, what's your earliest memory of loving art or being exposed to it when you were a child, and what was it?
My mom used to make paper dolls for me, and she used to make the clothes with the little flips going back. So I can remember coloring in the clothes and coloring books and drawing. And one of the gifts that I can remember, one of my best gifts that I could remember, was a little parcel that my mom gave me with with pens and crayons and paints. So I've been drawing forever, and I've been enjoying it since being small.
Wow. So did you draw and paint a lot in school as well as a child? Or?
Yes, I did. And I also went to an art school from our standard 8. It will now be grade 10. So I went to an art school in grade 10, 11, and 12, or in my time it was standard 8, 9, and 10. We've got, I think our system is different to the American system. So the last 3 school years, I attended an art school. So I had all art subjects. So that was quite nice. It gave me a nice foundation.
Yeah, that did. Were your parents in the arts at all, or any of your family members?
My mom is very arty, but she doesn't paint enough. I've got my cousin is actually a very famous artist. He's quite successful. He does more modern art, and so he's into art as well.
Oh, and what is his name? Is
Munro, Munro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So
he does lovely work.
You have some creative people then in your family. That's great.
Yes.
Have you ever mentored with him at all, or?
No, not really. No.
Really?
No.
Yeah. Well, when you, huh?
I said, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, when you were a child, did you experiment with all different types of mediums, or was it?
No, not really. When I was a child, it was more crayons and paints, and that was it. Later on, when I was at art school, there I was exposed to the different mediums, and so they are was a little bit more creative, But in early days, it was just basically crayons and paints.
Yeah, but those are good. Those are good tools. I mean, to start when you're young.
Yes, yeah. You know what it's like when you're a child. You're happy with what you have, and you enjoy what you've got. You don't know that there's anything else, so you're just so happy and draw and paint, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know, and we really, especially back when we were young, we had to be more creative, because with all the technology today, we had to get creative
Yes,
with what we had, and
exactly. Yeah.
I think that makes you a better artist. I really do. When you went to college, though, I noticed that you ventured into graphic design, which
Yes,
led you to fashion design, and
the graphic design came first. So I first studied graphic design, but then later in my life, I went to, everything is sort of, it depended on where I was living. And sometimes things just happen. Like we spoke earlier, things happen for a reason and you go into a certain direction. And I started just making clothes myself. I quite enjoyed doing dressmaking, and I had a lot of people coming to me asking me to make stuff, and I was very creative because I did applique and cut work and embroidery on the clothes, and then and I lived in a very small town, and so I was not really exposed to a lot. It's not like you would be exposed to art galleries and the be inspired by that. But I made a lot of clothes, and then we had a cultural center that was in the former Botswana, and the deputy director that was there came to know of the clothes that I made, and then she asked me if I would go and teach at the cultural center. They had people. It was actually brainchild of Lucas Mangope, where Mabana was the center. It was a mother of children. So he subsidized the center, and people could learn different skills for a very small fee. He just felt that people had to pay. And so they had an early learning center, they had a sewing center, they had an art center. It's quite a nice concept. So I became involved with the Mabana Cultural Center. I then went there as a tutor, and I was appointed as unit manager. And then I just felt that I need a little bit more to gain a little bit more knowledge. So I did the fashion design course after hours. While I was working, I went to almost like night school to qualify as a fashion designer, so that I could then teach all the students the skill. So that was the reason why I did that, and I quite enjoyed it. So I did a lot of I used it, making clothes for people, for clients, and then also taught the people at the center the skills.
Oh, that's wonderful, though. But do you do any fashion design today for
Nothing.
nothing?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I've stopped. Sometimes I would be curious about something, and I would venture in it, and then go for it. Like full blast, and then I'll get tired, and then there's something else that I'm interested in, and I'll go in that direction until I get tired of that. So yeah, and that is what happened. I moved away from the small town. We moved to Bloemfontein. I still worked at the center there, and then when we moved to Joburg, I ventured into art. So then I got more involved in art and really paid more attention to my art. And I did a little bit fashion design for some clients, but then you have to choose, because you can't do everything all the time.
Yeah.
So then I thought I've done enough of that. So it's time for new adventures and new things to do. And so then it was time for my art.
What do you think being at the center, at the Mabana Cultural Arts Center, taught you the most about, or what did you take away from it, working with the underprivileged and disabled? As an artist and as a human being, I guess.
Yeah. One of the nicest memories that I will have of that center is that I could make a difference difference to people's lives. I could empower those people, because a lot of those people could use the knowledge, and they could start their own small business. It was mainly, especially the ladies that came for sewing classes. They could start working from home, and with the disabled people. With the disabled people, I did quilting. So it was just all handwork, and the people. They weren't really valued. That's what the social worker told me, that in their community they weren't always valued. They've sometimes seen almost as a nuisance. Because they needed special care, they couldn't provide for their families. And what we did is, in the center, we also worked with the social workers. So some of the people, like I had one guy, his name was Tiru Mafura, a black Tswana guy, and he came to the center, and he had cells that he has cut from shoes, old shoes, tied to this portion of his hands and his knees, and he was crawling. He didn't have a wheelchair, so that was the only way of transport and of getting places was crawling on his hands, and not his hands, his knees, and this part of his hand. So we, through the social worker, we then got him a wheelchair, and with they made quilts and cushions, and he had to work like this, because this was the only way that he could stitch. And they made beautiful cushions and beautiful quilts, and we would then sell these items. And the center also gave them a salary each month that enabled them to get to the center, because some of them lived very far in remote rural areas, so it was not easy. Even coming to the center for them was difficult. They had to get up early. They had to people had to take them to the taxi rank. And I can remember one night we had a function, and I had to take one of the people back in the centre's little combi. And I couldn't believe the areas, the rough areas that those people had to go over with their wheelchairs just to get to the taxi to come to work, so to speak. So I think the whole concept that they had of empowering these people, teaching them skills, was really it made a difference in their lives, definitely. And they were admired, because they could do something that other people couldn't do. And so, that was really a nice memory that I will take away from there. We also arranged a fashion parade for them, for the normal students at the end of the year. We got prizes. I can remember we got a sewing machine from Benina. The lady in town in Bloemfontein sponsored a sewing machine, and we got a cash prize. So it was a good motivation for them, and I'm sure that they can still use those skills up to today. So that is my memory.
I think it's amazing, though, what people can do when people that we wouldn't think could do anything, and what they're willing to do when you give them a little bit of hope, and then
exactly.
and you're willing. What would you say that you learned? What did this teach you about yourself, or as a woman doing this? Did you find anything? Did you discover something deep inside you that you didn't know was there as a woman?
I would say, that we, as women, we can make a difference, and in the gentlest and in the smallest way. If you can make a difference, so you needn't be this great, powerful person, even in remote areas. you can teach people things, and you can empower them, and you can bring happiness and a little bit of income in their lives. And yeah, so it's a good feeling. And those people, something that I'll always remember is that those people were very, very thankful for the skills. I can remember when I left there, they wrote me a little card, and everyone wrote a little note in, and that's something that I'm still keeping, and it's so special.
Yeah, well, I think it's amazing that you did that. I was reading a little bit about it, and I went to the site, and I think that says a lot about you, not just as an artist and that teach, but that your willingness to give that kind of hope. And women are good at that. I think, I think so, of giving back like that. And I think I can tell that was a wonderful experience for you.
It was a wonderful. I'm so glad that I was in the right place at the right time. That I could actually do that. So it was a privilege, really.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it was for you. I know. I think I would have loved to have been there to photograph something like that, just to document it. But you've also done photography, and you've won several local awards. How
Yes.
how would you say photography has helped you as an artist of paint?
It helped me a lot. I did a course. I did a fine art photography course, online course with a guy, and especially with Photoshop, and working in different layers and creating different moods. It really helps you to compile and to think differently. So I think it's a multi-dimensional tool, the photography combined with Photoshop. To help you grow and to see different things and to expand as an artist. So for me, it's lovely because at the moment I'm doing online courses. I'm presenting courses as something that I've always wanted to do, but I just never got around to. And now with the lock-in, it really gave me the platform to do something that I've been putting off for a long time. And now again, I can use my Photoshop skills and I can use my photography skills because I've got so many photos that I can use. So at the end, everything just comes together and it works as a whole, and it opens up a new world for me, and I think for especially for the people that I teach as well, helps them as well.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, photography is an art, and I can in itself, and I think that it's great that you can do both and combine both. Art. One thing I want to. This is a question because you do teach. Art's very subjective, and it means something different to everyone. And I know that from experience because I was actually at this art show a few years ago, our art gallery, and I'm the type of person that it's a feeling when I look at something, and it doesn't have to have a profound meaning to me. It's really inspired by the colors or the mood that it strikes in me, what emotions it pulls out. And there was a gentleman beside me who you could tell was a very serious art critic, and he had obviously this is something he did as a hobby. And it was just interesting. He gave this profound statement about what the art piece, and I don't remember what we were looking at now. And I was just sitting there thinking, gosh, I was going, wow, I just think it's beautiful, but he was very serious. And I was thinking, I didn't need all these big words, and it didn't have to have a profound meaning to me. And so, because it means something different to different people, how do you help your students learn to be okay with the critics and instead of worrying so much about how other people are going to interpret their art, more just about getting it out and letting it be something different for everyone that views it, I guess.
You know what? I think. I think people take criticism. I wouldn't say. Look, if whenever I work with students, I would start by praising them, because at the end everything is beautiful, and there's not really a wrong and a right in art. You know, it's very subjective. You might like something that I might not like, and it all depends at the end. From which angle you look at it. So there's some art that I don't really particularly like, and there's other art that's really beautiful for me. When I work with students, I will ask them, like at the moment we're busy with abstract portraits, and we look at different artists, and we look at different styles, we look at different color palettes, we look at different messages, and I would ask them, what is their purpose with the work that they do? What is it that they like? And then I try to help and guide them, listening to them, sort of what their message is. But I think at the end, most people value it when somebody that has a good eye, and somebody that can really help them to make a better painting, because there's no point in just praising someone. So I think if you do get somebody that can guide any artist in a gentle way, and make them aware of techniques where they can improve their work, it's actually of great value to them. So I personally enjoy it when somebody would give me good advice, and I think that's something that we must be open to. We learn and we grow when we get advice, and I don't see it as criticism. I just see it as advice, and I see it as a different perspective, And when I help people as well, I say, listen, I would just like to show you. I'm not saying you should do it. I would just like to make you aware of the fact that if you use a different value, it will have the effect of giving you greater depth in your painting. Or if you use a softer edge, this is what will happen. If you increase the tonal value, if you increase the color, this and that will happen. It's your choice at the end. So then it's for them to decide. But I think help and criticism is very necessary to grow as an artist.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you know how to handle it and with your students, and I think that's really great, because there is a right way and a wrong way to criticize. Yeah. So yeah, that's wonderful. But your artwork is very versatile. As I was, just going through all your different artworks on social media, and you've done portraits, urbanscapes, cityscapes, flowers, seascapes, just etc. a lot. And so, do you have a favorite area to work in, or do you have one area that you consider your strong point, or do you just enjoy it all?
I'm sort of seasonal, but I think at the end I enjoy it all. At the moment I love to do still lifes with a little bit of flowers in, and I also love to do portraits. So those are the two things that I'm enjoying at the moment. But then I would venture into seascapes, and then I do this, and I enjoy doing different things and working in different mediums as well.
Yeah, because I know I've seen some charcoal and drawings, and so and your work is very delicate to me and soft, and there's a romance in some of your work, or I've seen it in actually a lot of your work, and I mean that's what I see. Do you consider yourself a romantic? Is that what?
Definitely. Yeah.
Because I do see that a lot, and I've enjoyed. It puts me that in that mood, I guess, when I look at some of your work. It's very romantic, I think. And some of your work's been featured in the South African Art Diary, and I wanted you to talk about that book and how that opportunity came to you. And I think I know the one of the girl with the vanity, I believe, is one of your pieces that I like a lot was in there. Can you talk about this a little bit, or?
Sorry, you're talking about the exhibition in France?
No, this is the South African Art Diary that I saw one of your pieces of work in. It was in a book.
It was in a book. It was. Are you talking about the magazine? Oh
Yeah.
yes. The one was in the South African Art Diary. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, that was a photo that I took of my daughter. She lives in France, and the day I left, I normally go and visit her every year. This year I couldn't with COVID, and as I was packing my things away, and in their house they had like a little attic. The guest room was there, and I said to her, "Won't you quickly pose me so that I can do the photo?" So that was a photo that I've taken of her and painted, and that was then featured in the South African Arts Diary. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love that piece of work. So you took the photo and then did the artwork from the photo. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Well, don't I have it? No, I don't have it up here, but I had it in one of the ads. I think that I social media. I love that, and these are some that I just love. Just I'm a horse person, so this is just adorable to me. And,
Thank you.
And I know it's probably hard to see. I don't know if I can zoom in or not here. Let's see what happens. I can, but it's not showing it. So let's zoom back out. But yeah, and then the flowers, and then the cityscape here. But yeah, I just really do love that. And I thought this would be a good time actually for you to share some of your work and talk about it. A couple pieces that you would like to share.
Good. Now I've got a lot of stuff on the wall, but this is one of my charcoal drawings. We spoke about the charcoal drawings, and this is one of my recent pieces that I really enjoyed doing. I've done it on, there we go. Yeah. Just get the angle right. Yeah. I just worked with charcoal and
I love that one. Was that from a photograph as well, or just?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
This is one of I'm sorry. It has it's one of my paintings that I've done for my course that I'm presenting at the moment. Just a girl.
Hold it closer to you, and I'm going to zoom in. Now pull it toward your face. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one too.
Thank you. And then I've done a few very textured seascapes.
Those are beautiful.
Two of them. I've done 4 smaller ones. That's very similar. So they're all together.
Those are beautiful.
Okay. And then I've got 2 bigger ones. So that's the 6 that go together. I must just make sure I'm in the picture.
No, that's great. Those are gorgeous.
Yeah, and then I'm busy at the moment. I've done this, but this is quite a big painting. I don't know if you can see it. It's of St. Andrew's Golf Club. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I remember that one on your page. I like that a lot too.
Thank you. And this is one that I'm busy with at the moment. It's a commission for a client.
Let me zoom in on that. Okay. Can you pull it this way?
It goes the other way. There we go.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. Yes. Well, I love cows.
Thank you. Yeah, but there's still a lot of work to be done on that one. Yeah, and then there's a lot of finished work back on the wall.
Now, Terry, this one behind you with this, it's a circle, it's this brown, is one that I really loved on Facebook. What was the inspiration behind that? That one is just gorgeous to me.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, I'll take it off. This I've done with one of my tutors, Dove and Yerden. It reflects a bit.
That's okay. I can see it good. It's all right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's a model that we got, and he took some lovely photos, and we used this as reference.
Mm-hmm. But this is it's your art, right? This is
correct.
Yeah. I love that. I really do.
Thank you. And I did one of the same model. Up there you can see with the blue headpiece.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love all these.
Thank you.
But you do a good job with the portraits. You really do. But all of it is wonderful. There was one that you had of looked like an older gentleman with I believe it was with a young boy, if I'm remembering.
Yes. You know what happened there? It was in Pretoria. We've got what they call the place Irene Farm. And they've got a restaurant, and they still milk the cows there, and they've got farm animals. So people take their children there so that they can walk around. It's a lovely place, and there's a restaurant. And that day, the old guy went there, and he sat there with his grandson, and they had this conversation. And I just looked at them, and I just had to take a photo and paint them. And I was so sorry that I never took his number, to show him the painting afterwards, because I think that would have been so special. But it was the interaction between the two generations that was just so beautiful. And I could really see that the young boy was listening to his grandfather. And I was wondering, what are they talking about? Because it seemed so interesting. He was intrigued, and the granddad was explaining. So it was such a special moment, the photo.
It was sweet. It's really sweet. I really like that one. I know I hate you didn't get to show that to them because that one really touched my heart when I saw it. I was like, how sweet that is.
Thank you. Well, it was really a special moment.
Yeah, it really was. I'm sure I can tell. Just the artwork is really beautiful in itself. You can feel the emotion. But you've worked with, you were talking about working with the different mediums. I'm just assuming you enjoy the paint the most, but what's different for you about the charcoal versus the paint? Do you enjoy the charcoal?
I think at the moment charcoal is my favorite.
Is it?
Yes. You know what? I think there's when you work with it, when I work with charcoal, I tend to work a lot with my fingers. I manipulate and I blend with my fingers, and I think it's the tactile, the touching, and I think somehow you go back to sort of childhood when you used to just be free and play, and I think it's something that I can't really explain it, but that's a feeling that I get with charcoal. It's like playing in mud almost. Getting dirty, because I've got wet wipes with me, so my fingers are black, my forehead, everything is black, and it's just such a nice medium to work with. And apart from it being nice, it's also such a forgiving medium. Because it's so easy. I do charcoal drawing, online charcoal drawing classes as well. And if you see the result And if you see what the people do, it's just amazing. So I really enjoy the charcoal. It's a lovely medium to work with, especially if you work on the toned paper. It makes it so easy. And I've done a drawing, a charcoal drawing on canvas. There in the corner, you can see a little black boy.
Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a little Himba boy. I had three. Let me do this, yeah.
Where this one at the bottom?
Yeah, it's a little Himba boy. Yeah.
Okay.
I had three of them, and then a client came and she bought two, and she said she'll come back for the third one, and then she never did. So now he's all by himself, all alone.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you can remember that other painting that I've posted recently. It was the black lady with a headpiece, and she had this colorful background.
That was charcoal?
Yeah, that was charcoal. The basic drawing was done in charcoal, and I just then worked with acrylics around it. But the basic drawing was done in charcoal.
Yeah.
So it's a very versatile medium. You can work on paper, you can work on canvas, and you can do it. You can use it as a base for your acrylic painting, for oil painting. And I think that's why I like it so much. And it's easy, and it's playful, and it's very, very forgiving.
Right.
That's the best part, yeah.
Yeah.
And you get it.
Well, real quick, because I want people to see this. Let's see if I'm going to get a light in front of it. Which way do I need to go here? It's just so cute. The little, let's see if I can zoom in. I love the horse, the girl on the horse.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites, favorite paintings.
And the flower, and I love the cityscape here.
That's an old painting, but it was a photo that I took when I was visiting my daughter. So it was yeah.
I love the mood, the lights, and I don't know, it gave me a nice feeling when I saw it, and I'm trying to get on the little horse. I just think that's so precious, because that's when I saw that, that's exactly how I feel when I'm around my horses. They bring out the little girl in me, because I've loved horses since I was a little girl, and so I hate I don't own that little painting, because it's really.
Don't you have any photos of you and your horse when you were little?
I don't.
No. Oh, pity.
No, I wish I did. So, but that's the feeling I get when I look at that painting. So it's really special. But I know you love to teach, and have there been any great influences that over the years, or anyone today that still influences you, or other artists, or
that inspires me? If I could say an artist that has really inspired me was my tutor, Dov van Heerden. He lives in Gauteng, Johannesburg at the moment. He's been a big inspiration. He's got the knowledge that he has is just amazing. So he's been a great inspiration. I learned a lot from him. He was my tutor for about 2 years or so. So yeah, he was a great inspiration for me.
Wow, that's wonderful. I mean, I think it's good that we have people inspire, and that's important, I think, to keep us moving forward. Because your bio says that you like to push the boundaries. How do you do that?
I think that will be that's more within myself. I'm not. I don't only want to work on one medium. I'm curious about different mediums, and I want to achieve and create nice work in beautiful work in different mediums. So I try to understand, how to what is the right expression? You know, just the technical knowledge about different mediums, different papers, because every medium has a different way that you need to work with. You can't work with watercolors like you work with oil paint, and you can't work with charcoal like you work with pastels. So, you know, there's different dynamics in every medium. And so I sort of push myself to grow as an artist and to gain knowledge about all the mediums and I wouldn't say excel in them, but just to get to know how to work with them.
Well, I think that's good because I don't even like you said, you don't have to excel in something. Like in photography, I photograph everything, different, not just people, but animals, objects. And I think the more different things you do, like you as working with different mediums, it just helps the artist grow, like you said, and you're going to learn something in each area. So I think it's good that you do that. And I definitely want you to share about this is the highlight of your career, you said, your exhibit in France. And I want to share about that experience because I think that's wonderful that you've been there twice.
Yes, that was amazing. How it happened is my daughter lives in France. They've been there for 10 years now, more than 10 years. And at one of her meetings, she met this lady with this gallery. She's got this boutique gallery, and I was visiting at that stage, and she said, "This is my mom is an artist, and I've heard that you've got a gallery. Is there a possibility that she can exhibit?" And she said yes, and I went to visit her. We set a date for that very same year in September. So, and then September, I took my paintings over and I had an exhibition there, and it went quite well. So it was an amazing experience. But I think it was due to my daughter working so hard, sending out invitations, helping with the catering, promoting my exhibition there. So it was really her hard work that helped a lot.
Right, but they asked you to come back, and you went back. Why do you think your work was so well received in France? I mean,
well, I think I was just lucky. I think because the second exhibition was not at a big gallery. The second exhibition was it's almost like a restaurant where they combined the art with the food with the art experience. So that's where I had my second exhibition.
oh, that's a wonderful idea. Yeah,
It's lovely. It was just the exposure was brilliant. It was really good for me.
Oh, I think so. So, would you like to go back?
Definitely, maybe. It's just the logistics of getting your paintings there is and working towards the exhibition is quite hard work. So, but maybe one day I'll get the opportunity again.
Yeah. Well, your work's in several different galleries in South Africa. Do you have this dream place or dream place that you dream about that you would love to have an exhibit?
I don't know. I hear everybody talking about New York being the best place, so who knows? It might happen. They say be careful what you wish for because sometimes wishes do come true. So I think for any artist to sell your work, anywhere else in the world is quite it will be quite a feather in the cap. So that I wouldn't really mind where it sells, but to get recognition globally is, I think, a dream that every artist have.
Oh, sure. You just keep dreaming big because I think that can happen for you. I really do. Real quick, I wanted to. How do you handle, say, a creative block? Maybe I'll just because I know I've had them where I want to go to my studio and I want to do something really creative. And for some reason, I'm in this funk, I call it, where I'm not feeling
You know,
creative, and then that makes me feel worse. How do you? I know how I pull myself out of it. How do you pull yourself out of it? What?
you know, I hardly ever am in a creative block.
Oh, shoot.
I've got I've got a creative overflow. I wish I had 10 hands so that I could paint. And I needed very little sleep because I've got all these ideas and I've got all these photos and concepts and things. And at the moment I've got so many things that I wish I could do. So I don't know. I haven't been in a blog for. I know some of my friends. I'd read on Facebook and they say, "Oh, I don't know what to paint. I'm not too sure. I can't get painting." But I never have that problem. I just always have too little time.
Yeah. Well, that's
Unfortunately.
good though. That's good. It's good that you don't have that. That's wonderful. What advice would you give to, say, an upcoming artist who wants to branch out maybe and have their first exhibit? Because I know that can be really scary, that first one. Is there some kind of advice that maybe it's some you give to your students, or just who would you give to maybe some viewers that are watching this live or the replay? What would you advise them to make that big step?
I think the best would be to make a collection of works. Do what I don't do. You should stick to a theme and do a collection, because it always makes if you've got a body of works, it always makes a nicer impression than having different styles, different themes, etc. And then maybe try and look for a gallery that represents your type of work, because you do get different galleries. You get galleries that they represent more the modern artist, and then you get the more traditional artist. And so I think that would be the best way to go about, is do a body of works and then try and look for a gallery that will represent your work. And then, and go for all opportunities that you can get, I think.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Were you very nervous at your very first one?
Yes, I was. It's always, as a new artist, to exhibit with these well-known names it is a little bit nerve-wracking. Luckily, it was not an exhibition where there was like an opening. The gallery was just, they just took my work in. When I had my first exhibition where, we were introduced as artists and it was an opening night, that was an amazing experience. And it's a lady that she had almost like pop-up galleries, and I used to exhibit with her, quite frequently. Whenever she had exhibitions, she would invite me, and that was amazing. And I really appreciate the fact that she gave me an opportunity as an artist that does different things and works in different mediums. That was a very good experience, and she's a lovely person, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. You've had some really great opportunities and experiences in your life, and I'm really excited that you took the time to be here with me today, Terry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Is there anything that you want to announce before we leave maybe about your workshops? How can someone take your online workshops?
They can just go onto my Facebook page, or they can just Google me, send me a message, and leave their email address, and I will send them the info. I've got my workshop at the moment has 3 options. They can either do a download. And then that is option, the first option. The second option is a download, and a short Zoom class once they've completed their portraits where I can help them. And then the third one is the download plus 4 Zoom classes. So that's actually the best one because it's very comprehensive. I get the opportunity to discuss and explain reasoning and but if they can't do the Zoom classes, they can always just do this download. So they can just Google me and message me, and I will email them the invitation.
Okay, I'll make sure I put your Facebook page on your under the YouTube video of the replay, and I guess that's the best way to find you.
Or my name. I don't think there's a lot of artists with my name. So if they Google on Facebook, they can just send me a message.
Okay, well that sounds great. Well, I'm so glad you were here. Don't hang up or anything, Terry. I'm just going to say goodbye to the viewers. I want to thank you again for being here. I've really enjoyed it. I want to stay in touch. I've really enjoyed your work, and I want to thank the viewers for their continued support of Tamarah's Closet. And make sure that you share this replay, one of the replays, whether it's YouTube or on Facebook or Twitter, so that I can keep celebrating Terry and her work. And join me September 14th for my live interview with another artist from South Africa, Janko de Beer. He's been a guest on here before a few years ago, and he's going to be joining me. And to your own success, just keep living your life and keep on rocking it, and we'll see you soon.